So, James, today I want to discuss the area of free movement of goods.
Me too. It's very complicated, and I'm not sure I grasped everything in class.
Well, that's what tutorials are for, James. Tell me, what did you not understand?
I'm not sure of the significance of kek and meteorard.
Okay, first of all, do you understand the difference between distinctly and indistinctly applicable measures?
Yes, in the area of free movement of goods, distinctly applicable measures actually create a distinction between home member state goods and goods coming from other member states.
And indistinctly applicable measures?
Indistinctly applicable measures create no distinction between home and host member state goods, but nonetheless impact negatively or impede the free circulation of goods in the EU.
Can you give me an example?
Yes, NTBs, the so-called measures having an equivalent effect to a quota or a charge, that impose restrictions on the manner in which a good can be sold. Am I right?
Just on the manner in which goods can be sold?
Yes, any measure having equivalent effect that is applicable to goods and that has a negative impact on the free movement of goods.
What did you mean a minute ago when you spoke of selling arrangements?
I was referring to the rules that are not so much applicable to the good itself, but rather to the manner in which it is sold.
Example?
Let me see. How about the rule restricting the sale of alcohol to people over the age of 18 years?
Very good, and what distinction did the court make?
If the restriction only applies to selling arrangements, then it is not as bad as one applicable to the good itself.
You'll have to do better than that, James. After all, you're going to be a lawyer in a couple of years.
Well, if the restriction applied by the member state only applies to selling arrangements, then the measure will not be considered as being a measure equivalent to a quantitative restriction if it is non-discriminatory in effect.
Very good, and that is what Keck and Mito are established. And if the restriction applies to the good itself?
Then, according to Cassis de Dijon, it will be considered a restriction on the free movement unless it satisfies an overriding public interest and is objectively necessary, non-duplicatory in effect, non-discriminatory, and proportional.
There you go, James. Sometimes you know more than you think you do.
It's easier when I'm asked the right questions.